What's up, everybody? We are back after a week off, and we're here with some more PGA DFS picks and lineup advice for DraftKings and FanDuel. This time for the AT&T Byron Nelson down at TPC Craig Ranch. Welcome. I'm Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, and let's jump into it. In these videos, we normally talk about the betting markets. We analyze the weather, some ownership, and some lineup construction tips for all contests on FanDuel and DraftKings. So we always like to start by looking at the weather, and the wind is picking up a bit this week. Whether it will be a major factor or not remains to be seen, but let's bring it up. So, windfinder.com is our trusted source for wind when it comes to PGA DFS. So, if we're looking at McKinney, Texas, where this event is being held, we're looking at Thursday and Friday mostly, right? And you see the event starts 7 a.m. Thursday, local time, and the wind does pick up throughout the day. 20-mile-per-hour gusts in the green here that you see, 13 to 17-mile-per-hour sustained winds. If we go down to Friday, we see that 30-mile-per-hour gust early in the morning. That does drop to 18 to 20-mile-per-hour gusts later in the evening. So not a major edge, but it does look like guys who start early on Thursday and finish late on Friday should have a slight edge. Again, I don't think this course is one that will particularly have a major wind impact. But as we always talk about in these videos, it is nice if you're building multiple lineups to build subsets of your lineups that take advantage of the different waves. So whether you're playing all Thursday golfers, Thursday morning golfers in a couple of lineups, all Thursday afternoon golfers in a couple of lineups, just in case a wave edge does materialize. Not necessarily think that'll be the case this week, but again, if you are building multiple lineups, it is nice to consider that. And again, this forecast has already changed since yesterday. So monitor it throughout the rest of today, Wednesday. I'm recording this at 10 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday, so still plenty of time for this forecast to change. I think if I had to build one, it would be Thursday morning golfers. Although I wouldn't necessarily, if I was building a single entry lineup or I was building lineups and I didn't really want to worry about stacking specific waves, I don't think the wind will be a major factor this week. However, let's keep this in mind. And if you are watching this and you're watching the forecast throughout the week, I do think that there are some benefits to stacking certain subsets of your lineups. So not a huge edge here this week probably. Really, the big thing that we have to talk about is Scotty Scheffler. Let's go to DraftKings. Scheffler 11,900 on DraftKings this week, a prohibitive favorite. Let's go to the daily plug, occupyfantasy.com, which has our top plays, lineup construction tips, other information about the course, characteristics you need for your golfers this week. And we see that Scotty Scheffler is a plus 300 favorite. Next closest is Hatton at plus 1,100. And this is, if you've been playing PGA DFS this year, you may realize that this looks extremely similar to the Mexico Open, where Jon Rahm was, I think, closed even better than plus 300 in the betting markets. And Scheffler's ownership will reflect that. If you remember in the Mexico Open, Jon Rahm was the most expensive golfer, got up to 50% in most DFS contests. If we look at our Occupy model, which ranks every golfer, FanDuel, and DraftKings, and has projected ownership, we see that we project Scotty Scheffler for 40% on DraftKings this week. This has fluctuated a bit. Our final ownership update will be this evening, but we expect him to be 35% plus in most contests. Now, if you remember that video I did for the Mexico Open, I thought there was a very real case for playing Jon Rahm in all of your lineups, especially small field contests. We made the argument for both sides, obviously the game theory reasons, but I thought it was much more difficult for Rahm in small field not to get there than if you didn't play him. So that is one comparable event here. However, this is very different. And I think the very first look we can see is if we sort by OF index, which is our proprietary metric, in that Mexico Open, Jon Rahm was the number one ranked golfer, as he should have been. However, we have Scheffler all the way down near the top 20. Not even in the top 5, not even in the top 10, not even in the top 15. And I think this is a very good representation of what we want to do with Scheffler this week. Now, you're playing cash games, you're playing really small contests. Sure, you play Scotty Scheffler at that ownership because if he top fives, it's probably going to kill you if you don't have him. However, there are two major reasons this week why I think the play is to completely fade Scotty Scheffler in any high-risk contest. That means small field GPPs, not super small ones, but regular size small field GPPs, and especially the largest contests on both sites. First reason, and the number one reason in why he ranks so lowly, even though he's in the top 20 in our model, and is not number one or number two, is the fact that this is expected to be basically a birdie fest. Perhaps your definition of a putting contest. More strokes were gained putting in this event that led to leaders on the leaderboard than most other events on the PGA Tour last season and the year before. And if you look historically, Scheffler, while one of the best players in the world, doesn't necessarily thrive in these conditions. And if you look at this field in particular, he ranks outside the top 100 over the last 50 rounds in putts and in strokes gained putting in easy scoring conditions. What we expect this to be. You look at the winners, minus 20 or better in the last couple of years. So if that's the case, and we're playing a course where it essentially neutralizes some of the best aspects of the game of the best golfers, ball striking, particularly driving and approach, then we're looking at playing a guy at maximum ownership and maximum salary where he can't really use his strengths to his fullest. So that's number one. Number two, next week we have a major. And generally we see guys show up, fine tune their game. They're looking ahead to the next week. And we rarely see big names win events before majors. So not only do we have the narrative in play, but we have the numbers to back it up. So for me, when we have a guy who is $1,800 more than the next highest priced golfer in Tyrrell Hatton, remember Jordan Spieth withdrew from this event. So Scheffler at 11,900, Tyrrell Hatton at 10,100. I mean, Scheffler has to really go off in a spot where he's both the numbers and the situational aspects say he's probably not going to go off and win this event. Now, can he? Yes, he's one of the best golfers in the world, of course. However, given the ownership discrepancy, I think it is a very easy decision this week to go way under or completely fade Scheffler this week, play more balanced lineups. And hell, given the depth of the field or the lack of depth of the field, and given this type of event, I think it's even an event where we play balance, or the optimal could end up leaving a ton of salary on the table. Not necessarily something that you have to do, but if you are mass multi-entering, perhaps even opening up the salary range a little more, because I do think that if you look at the top of the model, you look at the betting market moves that we'll discuss, you look at ownership, I think that you can end up building lineups that leave $1,000 or more on the table that are very reasonable and not getting too crazy. Because if you think, right, let's just say you like Tyrrell Hatton, he is the best golfer in your eyes. That's $1,800 up to Scotty Scheffler, right? So realistically, you could leave $1,800 on the table if you believe that Hatton is a better play than Scotty Scheffler, right? That's just one quick example. So I wouldn't let salary constrict your lineups too much if mass multi-entering. Now, if you're just hand building, I wouldn't necessarily say let's automatically leave $1,000 on the table. But given the event, given both the field and historically what we know about this event, I think it's very, very easy decision to fade Scotty Scheffler. So let's clip this for next week when Scheffler inevitably wins by 10 strokes. But I do think pre-event that this decision is very easy not to play Scotty Scheffler. Now, if you're not already, make sure you are subscribed to our channel. Get notified when we go live, upload these PGA videos. Just click that subscribe button below the video and give us a thumbs up if you like the content. It helps us out tremendously. It helps others find these videos. Apparently, that's important in the YouTube algorithms these days. So if you could help us out, just drop a thumbs up real quick. We'd appreciate it. Now, the Scheffler decision. We've made that already. Let's talk about the betting markets. Now, if you've been watching these videos all PGA season, you know that what we like to do, we look at 3 or 4 sharp sports books that we know take sharp PGA action in all bet types, and we monitor the odds to win over the course of the week, see which golfers' odds are improving, and if we can get golfers' odds to improve at all of the sharp sports books that we monitor, we call them our sharp plays, our overlap plays, trifecta plays, whatever you want to call them. But basically, every sports book is respecting bets on these golfers, which should let us know that they are great plays for our DFS lineups. Now, again, I'm recording this early Wednesday morning. We will get more information throughout the day, and I'll post a final betting market update in Discord tonight around 9 p.m. Eastern, maybe a little earlier, depending on when we pull our betting market update. You can join our Discord, links in the description below. But as of now, 10 a.m. Eastern, we have 3 golfers whose odds to win have improved at all of the sharp sports books that we monitor. The first one is the guy who is on the thumbnail of this video, and that's Eric Cole. Now, $7,400 on DraftKings, and basically we've seen a guy here that can go really low when needed. We see minus 16 at the Mexico Open, and then we see minus 14 at the Honda Classic, where he finished second and probably should have won that event. And notably to me, is in the top 15 of our model this week, which again at 7,400 is pretty rare. But the model is really interesting this week. The model is picking up on the easy scoring conditions. The model is picking up on a bit of the randomness when it comes to the putting aspect of this contest. And if you look at the model this week, you'll probably be shocked at some of the names that are ranked ahead of Scotty Scheffler. But Eric Cole, betting market moves, odds to win have improved at all of the sharp sportsbooks that we monitor. And despite being his first season on tour, has proven the ability to go really low, which is what you're going to need in this event. Other guy that has seen his odds to win improve at all the sharp sportsbooks is Nate Lashley. Now, let's take a look at what Nate has done recently. Nothing to write home about. Some missed cuts. T3 at the Puerto Rico Open, minus 16. Again, we're looking for the ability to go really, really low. So when breaking ties, you're looking for guys who are low owned. Look through their recent events, past year or so. Can they get to minus 15 or better? Ideally, even higher if possible. And Lashley has shown that at least once this year at the Puerto Rico Open. But again, sharp sportsbooks are hammering Nate Lashley, or at least sharp bettors are, and sharp sportsbooks are respecting that action. If we look at Lashley's projected ownership, 6% on DraftKings. We'd love to see that. And finally, the third golfer whose odds to win have improved is Brandon Wu. 17% projected ownership. We don't get the ownership break this time around. Actually, let's go back to Eric Cole just to show you his ownership. 7%. So we got Lashley and Cole as overlap plays at just 7% ownership. Things we'd love to see. And then Brandon Wu, who is 17% projected on DraftKings. Doesn't rank highly in our model this week. But let's take a look at his recent efforts on DraftKings. And we see the third place finish at the Mexico Open. Ability to go really low, minus 19. Love to see that. Only minus 6 at the Honda Classic. Remember, Eric Cole finished second there. But we do know Brandon Wu can go really low. And again, the betting markets are backing up and justifying his ownership at 7,800. So when I see a really chalky player, I'm looking for some sort of justification to play them, right? We can't just play all low-owned golfers in our lineup. Well, we can. We don't have to. When I see high-owned golfers, if I'm looking to play them, if I'm looking to choose those as the high-owned golfers in my lineup, because it is a balance, I'm looking for some sort of justification, whether it's betting markets, whether it's the Occupy model, whether it's the write-up from our writer Nirmata in the Daily Plug. And Brandon Wu, fortunately, has the betting markets backing him up and willing to play him at his ownership, despite the poor model ranking. Now, remember, the model rankings, long-term view on players. And so we'll see some lower model rankings for guys who have been playing better recently. Not necessarily the case here with Wu, right? Obviously finished third at the Mexico Open, but miscut at RBC Heritage, miscut at the Valspar. More of a boom-bust probability here with Brandon Wu. So keep that in mind. But yeah, now that you look at it, right, do you really want to play a boom-bust guy at 7,800 at 17% ownership? Maybe not. But again, the betting markets are saying that maybe this is more of a boom week for Brandon Wu. All right, let's close out this video with some ownership discussion. If we go back to the model, and we look at the highest owned projected golfers of the week. Again, this will update 1 or 2 more times throughout the day. Scotty Scheffler, Jason Day. I mean, even Jason Day is up at 40%. And this is a guy who recently admitted that he's dealing with vertigo issues. Remember, Jason Day, incredible earlier in the season and even a little bit before that. But recently has not been great. If we look at Jason Day, let's pull him up on DraftKings here. Missed the cut at the Wells Fargo, T39 at the Masters, and it was at the Masters that he admitted he's dealing with these vertigo issues again. So, unless he's completely healed or got some sort of remedy for these vertigo issues, is this a guy that we want to play at 9,400 at 40% ownership when his last results were T48 at the Masters and a missed cut at the Wells Fargo? Probably not. Right? Ugh, I mean, we're looking for reasons not to play high-owned golfers sometimes. I mean, this is as clear as day not to play him. No pun intended. We already know he has a history of mid-event withdrawals. We have a major next week. I mean, this has disaster written all over it. Maybe Day goes out and wins a tournament. I'm not sure I'd be willing to play him this week. Again, so that's Scotty Scheffler, that's Jason Day as reasons we have not to play 40% owned golfers. Goes to show how wide open this week is. And then really, if you don't play those two, you can do whatever the hell you want with the rest of your lineup. So, I mean, it's already looking like a fantastic high risk week for PGA DFS. Who else we got here in the 20s? Tyrrell Hatton, Hideki, Tom Kim, the other golfers in that 9K plus range. They're going to get a bunch of ownership. So very fair. I'd much rather play those guys. Even Hideki dealing with that neck issue still. I think I'd be more willing to play Tyrrell Hatton and Tom Kim myself. But again, we'll finalize all this today. Now, let's close it out. Again, I don't think you need to artificially manufacture differentiation in your lineups this week. But a couple guys, 7% or less, that I do want to talk about. And the biggest one is the one you may have seen him in the lineup earlier. If you read the daily plug already, you saw him as the cover boy. It is Michael Kim. And this is just to give some context because in his model ranking, not great. And the model, again, is long-term looking. And Kim was basically horrific from 2018 to 2021. This is a guy who 2013 as an amateur was the low amateur in a major, finished 17th or so, actually won on the PGA Tour at the John Deere Classic, set the course record, won by 8 strokes. We're talking about a guy we need to go low. How about setting course records and lapping the field? Kim certainly qualifies in that regard. However, he was so bad for so long, lost his PGA Tour card, had to grind back on the Korn Ferry Tour last year. Now he's back on the PGA Tour and he's playing pretty well. So let's look at Michael Kim. Said he revamped his swing a little bit, has retooled his game, and it's shown. 7th at the Wells Fargo, that qualified him into the Open this year. Top 30s all around. 5th at the Puerto Rico Open. T11 at the AT&T Pebble Beach. So this guy has gone low this year. And clearly, if you're looking at any sort of projection system that values anything beyond 6 weeks, Kim isn't going to look that great, as he doesn't in our model. I got an OF index of 30 or something. But betting markets are already respecting him. His odds to win have improved at least 2 sharp sportsbooks. We're fingers crossed for this final sharp sportsbook to move his odds so we get that trifecta action. But Kim already getting love, massively overlooked by the field. And if we look at the model, just 4% projected ownership on DraftKings, 7,500 on DK. Our writer near model already wrote him up. So all the signs are pointing to Michael Kim as a fantastic low-owned, high-risk play this week. Any other golfers we're thinking about here? Maverick McNeely also dealing with some issues. Finally got back after a clavicle injury early in the season. He actually ranks number 1 in our model this week, which is a little scary given the injury issues, but it goes to show his ceiling. Jimmy Walker is one of the final 2 guys that I will discuss. Walker, a guy that was leading the field, the RBC Heritage. Let's go back. Been playing really well lately. Surprisingly, for a guy his age, no offense. T14, T15, T25. He was double digits under par, like halfway through. The RBC Heritage had a poor weekend, but we see a guy that top 25 in each of his last 4 starts, getting some love in the betting markets already. Love to see that. And the other guy is Cameron Champ, who is 4 or 5% projected ownership from us. Had been horrific for a long period of time, but then showed some signs of life at the Mexico Open T8. Missed the cut last week, the Wells Fargo. But you look at this cut, T8, cut. This is not great. There's a big reason why he's 4% owned. Betting markets are picking up on it. He's top 15 or so, top 20 or so in our model. This course really suits him. Ability to go low, minus 14 under, as we've seen. Let's see, let's scroll a little bit. Minus 11 at the Zozo. But even if you remember last year, T7 at the Mexico Open has won an event where he's had to go low in the past. So Cam Champ, again, there's going to be some guys who their recent form has looked terrible, but this type of event suits them really well. Even back to the Michael Kim example. The last time he played here, he finished 67th or something, which may not seem that great, but this was in between just a million missed cuts and withdrawals. Like, had not played well whatsoever and still managed to make the cut here. So this is definitely a week where recent form is something you can throw out the window and look to course fit, look to guys who are looking to make an impact, guys who can go really low, and you'll be able to get a lot of differentiation this week. Now, again, can Scotty Scheffler, can Jason Day, can they kill us? Yes, absolutely. Scotty Scheffler, I'd be more willing to play than Jason Day. but just massive reasons not to play these guys at this huge ownership. So that'll do it for this video. Appreciate you listening as always. Really interesting game theory this week. Numbers back up a lot of the decisions. For final thoughts, make sure you check out the daily plug, occupyfantasy.com, which I already put up on screen earlier. Let's bring it up right now. Top plays, lineup construction tips, course characteristics, and it'll have the Wednesday betting market update around 3 p.m. Eastern today. So make sure you check that out after this video this afternoon. Occupy model, we'll get our final ownership update this evening. Ranks every golfer, FanDuel and DraftKings. And then in Discord later tonight, I'll post the final trifecta, sharp overlap sports betting plays, whatever you want to call it. Guys whose odds to win have increased to every sharp sports book. Christ. Around 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern tonight, so make sure you check that out. Finally, if you're not already, make sure you are subscribed. We appreciate it. Helps us out, obviously. More subscribers we get, that's great, but it helps you out because the YouTube algorithm may not show you these videos in the future because we're putting out multiple videos per week in different sports. But subscribing is the best way to get notified when we upload any PGA videos. Give us a thumbs up. And we always love to hear from you. Who's your favorite play this week? Drop a comment below. Always love to hear from you. Any questions you have, drop a comment below. I'll be monitoring the channel throughout the rest of the day, and I'll get back to you. But let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So Brian Jester for Occupy Fantasy, thank you for listening, and good luck at the AT&T Byron Nelson.